Hey, so today I'll be watching The Tale of Outcasts, Episode 1. And the one thing that I find kind of, funny about this is that I kind of consider myself to be a huge obsessor over Beauty and the Beast media, particularly in anime and manga. And I did know about this manga series, and even in one of my videos, somebody mentioned this manga in the comments section, and yet I didn't even know that it was going to be an anime. I just found out yesterday that it had already become an anime. And it's already on episode 2 and I'm just barely finding out about it. And previously, I did have some interest in it, since it really reminded me of my favorite manga series, Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts, which I'm pretty sure by now I've mentioned quite a bit, so I think it's no surprise, really. And in particular, it reminded me for quite a few reasons. One, the main character has white, or I guess silver hair. She's a human. And her male counterpart is a beastman, with horns. Even haircut-wise, I think the main character in this one looks really similar to Seraphy. But I just recently saw the first 10 seconds of the trailer, because I don't really have much of a clue as to what the story's about, and I don't really want to spoil anything for myself. And I saw that while she does have the same kind of short haircut that Seraphy does, she also has it long in the back. And I didn't know about that, because at least from the first manga cover, she looks like she has short hair. So to me it was a big surprise. I was like, wait, she has long hair? So it's not too similar. It is very similar, but not to the extent that I thought it was. And as per usual, depending on how I feel after the first episode, I might buy the manga series, or at the very least, read it online somewhere. Now with all that being said, onto the episode. That seems kind of like a lie. I'm not saying it's not true, but it seems a little bit rehearsed. Although she could be sincere considering how she looks. That's strange. Yeah, it did look like she was put up to it. Aren't you a man of the church? Isn't that part of your job? To help charities? Although also kind of fitting that there are dark sides to the church. And she does look pretty. Not all bad, you got moldy bread. Oh. He's a demon? Can he not see the demon? Okay, so nobody can really see him. I like that he has red hair. She was scared and yet she still waved back at him. I mean, considering the type of person she has as a caretaker, it's no surprise that she's not all that scared of him. Of an actual demon. Ooh. Oh, she got beat. The priest can't hear her talking to herself like this at all and just wonder what's going on. So I guess demons just have ring on their tails? Is that him? Oh, okay, I thought we were getting a flashback to the story. I guess they're looking for him.
マルバス、あなた友達いないでしょ。長生きのくせして人の気持ちがわかんないんだなって。皮肉ですよ。
そんなはずはない。私は短時間だが人に化けることもできる。
Oh, wow.
この状態なら普通の人間にも見える。
Oh.
だから君が思っているほどコミュニケーションの機会がなかったわけではない。
Okay.
使うし、ひどく疲れるから多用はできない。それに使うと私をめぐっていつも大変な騒ぎになる。
I mean, he looks good in both forms. Nah, see, yeah, he looks better. In my opinion, anyways.
私、小さい頃からこの目が好きじゃなかったんです。
Her eyes. Oh, because she can see what others cannot. Oh, look. Almost exactly what I said.
いいことなんか。
Oh, little Seraphy.
でも、今はあなたが見えているこの目が私の宝物になりました。
Oh.
なぜだろうな。たまたま私が見えるというだけの。
Yet you keep going back to her?
どうして
Mm-hmm.
会いに来てしまうのだろう。
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking too. A buyer? I didn't think you'd sell her. Oh no. Hmm. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, can he just like die?
あの時もそうだった。兄さんも私がずっと小さい頃にこんな風に連れて行って。
Is he Snow?
私たち二人とも騙されて、そうやってひどい目に遭わされるんだ。お願いです。ここから連れ出して。
それはできない。
Why not?
悪魔としてのルールに触れる。対価なして人を救うと拒絶反応を起こし体が崩れる。
Then just name a price, whatever it is.
なら、
Take my soul?
私の
Ah,
もらってください。
that's payment, right?
悪魔がなぜ魂を欲しがるか知っているか。
Because they don't have any of their own?
自分の寿命が伸びるからだ。私はすでに不老不死だ。これ以上奪っても意味がない。
Yeah, that's true. Can you give some?
持て余してるほどだ。
Maybe switch it out, make her eternal or something? She's lost hope. Oh, that's a pretty dress.
やめないなら扉の修理代給料から天引きな。
それだけは勘弁してくれ。誰だあんたら。ここは神聖な教会だぞ。
Sacred.
なんだ。いるじゃねえか。
Is he gonna mistake him for a high demon and kill him?
大丈夫だ。
Oh.
怖がることはない。
I wanna trust him, but I don't know.
私の子だ。
Yeah, I was right.
お前の本当の商売も知ってんだよ。
Then why didn't you just shut it down before if you knew?
ここにいた銀髪の娘が夜中によく独り言を
Oh, so he was aware that she talked to herself.
ばらっちまったよ。金持ちの地主んとこに聞いたとこ、ガキをいたぶって興奮する変態だそうだがな。
So he does care about her.
私はただ不幸な身の上の君を癒してあげたいだけだ。
He doesn't have a hand? The hell is he? Oh, I'm glad she's able to escape and didn't just stay in the room. He's pretty calmly walking behind her, though. Who are you, Michael Myers? No, not the cliche fall. Get up.
この屋敷からは逃げられない。
I mean, the door's right there. I mean, it could be locked. Oh, in his human form? Well, That makes sense. He'll be seen that way.
なんだお前
He's brought payment.
人間のやり方に従うなら金があればいいんだろう。その娘をもらいに来た。
こんな冗談はめったにない
Yeah, specimen. Oh, he did say it exhausted him to be in that form. Oh, she bit him. Oh. How's fire? Because you helped save her life or something?
飽きたと思っていたんだ。君と一緒に過ごした夜だけは退屈を忘れることができた。望みなどとうにないと思っていたが、どうやら私は君と共にいる未来が欲しいらしい。
A high demon?
もしかしてあの人悪魔と契約を。マルバス。
Can he turn back to his demon form? Oh, they're gonna make a pact.
私の一番大切なあなたが見えるこの目なら
Is she gonna go blind?
私と一緒に生きてください。
My lord. Oh, 13 calamities. He didn't know that before? Oh, when her brother finds out she's blind due to a pact with the demon, oh, he's not gonna like that.
バカだな君は。これから世界のいろんなものを共に見ようと決めた矢先だったのに。
Oh, but now she can't see.
私が差し出せるものはこれしかなかった。その代わりあなたが私に教えてください。この世界にはまだ素敵なものがたくさんあるってことを。
さて、これからどこへ行こうか。こんなに旅の計画が楽しみなのは初めてだ。
But it's sad because she can't see it. Oh, the ears. Ooh, there's more! There's a wolf one! And a bird lady? Oh, and a minotaur type. Oh, I'm loving this opening.
で、その乱入してきた赤毛の悪魔ってのは銀髪
He's still alive? Can that man not die?
久々の冗談だったな
Yeah. Why? Just kill him.
あ、竹波、この案件俺に任せてくれるよな。もう少しでお前に会える。いっせ
Oh, he's looking for her.
お前を絶対に救い出してやるからな。
So it looks like I was both wrong and a little bit right about my initial thoughts about this series. But mainly just the fact that they do look similar. Like just looking at it from the main character perspective. The main character is a female, like I said in the beginning. She's a human. She has somewhat short hair, but then of course the difference is she has long hair in the back. And the Beastman in this one, well, for one, he has fur. Because there are other types. There's some who have feathers, some who have scales, etc. He has horns. He has red eyes, just like His Majesty. And long hair. But with him, he has long hair in both forms. Whereas His Majesty really only has long hair in his human form. And just a lot of fur all over his body in his beast form. But other than that, I honestly don't really see a whole lot of similarities between them anymore. Since this story really does seem different. Wisteria wasn't just some sacrifice that was sent to be eaten by the Beast King. This one's about a girl who's an orphan, who somehow ended up living with a father in a church, who then turns out to be a slave seller, who just happened to one day see Marabas walking in the street. She had a brother at one point, who was also sold into supposed slavery, which I kind of think maybe is the case, because although he is a part of those knights, there seems to be something keeping him there. Like Takanami said, you can keep killing demons until you get to that one. The big demon apparently that he's after seems to be Marabas. I'm not really sure why, although I'm pretty sure it has to do with the fact that he's part of the 13 calamities. But to me, it kind of seemed in the end that he knew Wisteria was there. He knew Wisteria was with that man. I think he might have known that Wisteria was with the father once he mentioned that a girl with silver hair was there. And then of course when he got to that rich lord, he seemed to be really hateful towards him and kept punching him in the face. And although he wouldn't do that for any other kid, but it seemed a little bit almost personal to me. He even told the guy, "You're gonna let me take care of this, right?" Like, he really seemed to want to beat him up. Which I get, but also, how did he survive the fire? His house was literally burnt to a crisp. How is he still alive? Is it because he made a pact with the demon? Because Manabas took care of that demon. How is that man still alive? He should have been dead. That's all I'm saying. He should have been dead. Both him and the father should have died. Oh yeah, and back to my initial point. It seemed that at the end, he held on to his necklace. Or at least there's a close-up shot to the necklace that he had, and he thought about his sister, how he's gonna get her back. So that's why I think that he assumes now, based on the information that he's got, that his sister is with that demon, and he's gonna go after her. Or maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he really did have a good life, and he ended up just going into the demon killing business, and it just turns out he might have found his sister. That could also be a thing. A part of me does regret watching like the first 10 seconds of the trailer, because it does spoil things. At least when I let myself see in from the trailer, Maravaz used to be a human, and then he was turned into a demon. Although I could be wrong, but he looked different before. But of course, just like His Majesty, he has a human form. But although unlike His Majesty, he can only turn into a human for a short amount of time, every so often, and then he has to turn back because his body can't take it. Whereas His Majesty, he can't decide when to change. It just happens whenever the miasma's out of the air that he turns into his human form, and he hates his human form. So it's not up to him when he changes to a human or not. Whereas with Marabas, he can choose to do that, just that it's really tiring. I was also very shocked that Wisteria offered up her eyes to Marabas. I was like, what? You don't offer up your eyes, you'll go blind. Offer up maybe a hand or something. Like, so you can at least still see. It's kind of the opposite from Sacrificial Princess. Since Sorry for Yourself didn't hate her life, or really anything, but His Majesty did. He hated his human half, and really disliked it because he feels like a false king. And in this one, Marabas doesn't really care, or at least she doesn't seem to care that he's a demon. Whereas Wisteria, she really disliked her eyes, up until the point where she could see Marabas and she finally started having some fun. In that aspect, they're the opposites. Also, a kind of funny, but in general pretty sad point, is the fact that, granted, yeah, I think most of us would be freaked out if we saw a demon like that. Although, I kind of want to see more of like a realistic depiction of him, like, what would he look like in real life, with like real fur like that, real hair like that, and horns. There's no doubt that he would be scary. But he doesn't look that scary, if that makes any sense. Like, he doesn't look terrifyingly scary, as if to say, if a reptile demon were to be in front of you, that would probably be really terrifying. But if somebody who looked like Marabas came in front of me, well, no, I'm pretty scared of most things. So I think, yeah, I would be pretty freaked out. But just, I guess, hearing him talk, I do like his voice. That's one thing. I do like his voice, and I do like his appearance. After my initial fear and shock, I think I also would just enjoy his company. Like, I wouldn't necessarily be too afraid of him, but I still would be conscious of the fact that he's a demon, and there's a chance that he might try to trick me to something. Like, maybe giving up my soul or something, I don't know. Making a pact. Kind of like the pacts you do in Death Note, where you can get the eyesight of the death gods, but it comes at a price. Because they're demons, of course. Everything comes with a price. So they give them the ability to see like they do, but their lifespan is cut in half. So they're really sacrificing half of their life to be able to see with the demon eyes. And Mysteria kind of did that, but really the opposite. Like, she gave up her eyesight to make a pact with him last minute. Though I did really like what Marabas did. Once he heard that Wisteria was taken to a man who loves to torture kids, he got so upset that Snow's meter really went off the charts. And I honestly thought when he teleported, he would just appear in the mansion, in the room that Wisteria was in, scare him somehow or do some crazy demon stuff, and then just take her away. I did not expect him to appear in his human form and just throw money at him. And that also surprised me. The fact that the rich lord didn't just accept all those gold coins in exchange for Wisteria. Though granted he is a rich lord, like the father said, so he probably didn't really need the money, which is why he wanted to keep Wisteria. That's another thing that I want to point out, is that I really like the fact that Wisteria didn't just let things happen. She didn't just stand there, shocked and terrified, and almost let the man abuse her. She actively fought him off. She slapped his hand away, she pushed him away, she bit his hand, except for the cliche falling. She did everything right. Although that wasn't really on her, that's just a cliche fall that everybody does right when you're running. But the fact that she was actually actively trying to save her own life, and she didn't just accept her fate in the end, I really like that. And also that Marabas, though he didn't have to go and save her, he realized that the month they spent together, of him telling her stories and she just talking with him, because she's the only one who can see him, made him realize that he actually had somebody important in his life. Worth enough to him to literally have his body start to disintegrate, just to save her. Like, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I think I'm really liking this series so far. Of course, my other main thing that I really liked about this anime series is the fact that people seem to be self-aware. They seem to notice things that I would question, or that at the very least I would ask. Like, why is Madavas in London? Why was Wisteria just telling her story like that right in the beginning? Like, I understand exposition is a thing, especially for readers and viewers to understand what's going on. But in the beginning, to me, that seemed just too in her face about her life. Typically, you don't talk everything that happened in your life on the streets. They at least show some clips or something. But when her just telling her story in the streets, that seemed very rehearsed to me. And I was right. It was rehearsed. Because she was trying to get money from people. So things like that. And also, typically I'm not a fan of spoilers. But is this setting out to be a romance? Because although I'm not against the relationship between Cypher and His Majesty and Second Virtual Princess and the King of Beasts, given their huge age difference, that to me isn't so bad considering one, the times. Clearly they're in olden times. Two, the situation is way different. And three, at the very least, they're not gonna get married right away. It's gonna take a while for them to get to that point. And also, Sarah isn't your typical teenage girl. She was sent there to literally be killed. And although she is super optimistic about almost everything, there's a certain maturity to her that's different. And I'm not justifying the whole age gap difference or anything, but just those key points make it different than any other kind of like age gap relationship. Given also the fact that also one, it's fantasy. And also, to me, it isn't as creepy as the one in Fruits Baskets. In particular, the one with Toru's parents. That to me is wrong because it's in an actual realistic setting. She's a very young teenage girl in high school, and her husband is a man in his 20s who's already teaching at the high school. That is too close to reality right there to even be able to feign that it's okay. Whereas in these types of shows, it's more in a way acceptable. I guess another way I could also say this is that if anybody loves Kami-sama Kiss, and of course the main couple, Nanami and Tomoe, is the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing with Like a Official Princess, and with this anime, the exact same thing. There is no difference. Tomoe is at least over 300 years old. His Majesty roughly the same. And Maraba's also. And their love interests are teenagers. 16 to 17 depending. So in that aspect, nothing in particular is normal. So really, we're not meant to see it as particularly right or wrong. It can be weird. I'm not saying it can't be weird. I'm just saying that the bar is different, if that makes any sense. So I really like this anime series. And I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode.